Contrast to the trend of stores closing in cities because of crime. Anderson vows that will not be a problem here.
If they see blight, they're going to do blighted things. If they see development, they see success, this is a community store, so the community shall protect it.
Self-protect.
Yes, self-protect.
That faith, that hope, drew the attention of Naira Jordan, who works for the social impact arm of American Family Insurance.
It's really important that we connect ourselves to the individuals in community. People in community that are closest to the issue are also the ones that are the innovators, the change makers that have the solutions.
As best as anyone can remember, it's more than 50 years since a new grocery was built near here.
What do you say to the naysayers?
Come shop. I say come shop.
Harry Smith, NBC News, Waterloo, Iowa.
And that's Nightly News for this Friday. Join us Monday for my exclusive interview with outgoing Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm Lester Holt. Please take care of yourself and each other. Good night.
That's what it is.
Niall thinks he's the king, but they better watch out.
I would never! I apologize for their antics.
You're going to get used to apologizing for us.
The Voice, new Monday and Tuesday on NBC.
Right now, at any Monteith's Best One location, take advantage of their fall service special. It's a Valvoline full synthetic oil change for just $29.95. That's right, just $29.95 plus tax for a Valvoline full synthetic oil change. Up to 5 quarts, some restrictions apply. Offer expires October 31st. Visit MonteithTire.com or stop into any Monteith's Best One location for details. Monteith's Best One Tire and Auto Care. Selling tires, serving people.
Get your first alert to changing weather wherever you are with the free First Alert weather app.
Football is a game of numbers, like one.
One play, one life.
Or in the case of last Saturday, one play from 1 yard leads to one loss because Notre Dame was one man short.
Touchdown, Ohio State!
Yeah, it's on us. We've got to be better.
And there is the number 0, which is the yardage Notre Dame acquired on a pair of key 4th and 1 calls against Ohio State.
The officials just made the call. Notre Dame was short of the line to gain.
When you have 3 series that end on their side of the field and we get 0 points out of it, that's the reality of it.
And that leaves the Irish with 0 margin for error to make the college football playoff.
Got to bounce back. That's what we'll do. It's Notre Dame.
0 is also the number of losses for Saturday's opponent. No, it's not Duke basketball, but Duke football that has that kind of record. The Blue Devils are benefiting from the coaching talents of another former Notre Dame defensive coordinator.
We're getting a lot of congratulations for game day coming here. I would rather wait and get some congratulations for how we play a football game Saturday night.
So which number do the Irish put in the win column Saturday on Tobacco Road in Durham? A 1 or a 0? The answer could determine the Irish season.
Chuck, this thing's going to be about us.
Here come the Irish.
0 argument there, Coach. Countdown to kickoff is next.
Live from the WNDU studios, this is 16 News Now's Countdown to Kickoff.
It's arguably the biggest football game Duke has hosted in decades, and it includes the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. You know, there's no place like home when home is the house that Rockne built. Thanks for joining us on Countdown to Kickoff. I'm Terry McFadden.
And I'm Tricia Sloma, joined by WHME Sports Director Chuck Freeby.
It was 1 week ago on this show when I said when 2 big college football brands play each other, one has to win, one has to lose, and that is exactly what happened. But the result came down to the final second. In the first half, both Notre Dame and Ohio State had chances to get on the scoreboard, but both defenses stood tough. That included 2 major 4th and 1 stops for both teams and a missed kick from Spencer Schrader. The Buckeyes put up 3 points near the end of the first half. If you took the under, it was looking really good, wasn't it? Now to the second half, where we find the Irish down 10. But they get into the groove. Jabron Payne punches it into the end zone. Notre Dame gets its first points midway through the third. And in the fourth, the Irish grab their first lead of the game, capped by a 2-yard touchdown pass to Rico Flores. Then things started to get interesting. Notre Dame having to punt with 1:26 left on the clock, and Ohio State marches down the field. They convert on 3rd and 10. 4th and 7. And 3rd and 19, leaving 1 yard and 7 seconds between the victory for both sides. Out of a timeout, Notre Dame breaks up a pass on 2nd and goal. Only 10 men on the field. Then on the last chance for the Buckeyes, Notre Dame lines up with 10 on the field again. Chip Trainum takes advantage by punching the ball in where that missing lineman would likely have been. The Buckeyes come from behind and win an instant classic in South Bend. Marcus Freeman explains what happened on the last drive in those last 2 plays.
We're trying to get a 4th D lineman on the field, and I told him just stay off because we can't afford a penalty. I didn't have any timeouts, right? So we couldn't afford a penalty there. You know, and yeah, it's on us. We got to be better. And we didn't play the entire game, right? Just the way we would have liked to. There was drives, there were spurts that we were just really moving the ball and defensively really shutting down, and then you give up a big play or you know, man, there's just a couple plays you wish you can redo.
And that final drive evoking emotions on both sides, including for Ohio State head coach Ryan Day. The leader of the Buckeyes took time in his postgame interview on the field to call out former Irish head coach Lou Holtz for his comments about the Buckeyes. The statement comes after the 86-year-old went on the Pat McAfee show last week saying Ohio State wasn't physical enough in some of their losses under Day. After the game, Day didn't hold back.
Toughness, that's it. Physicality, across the board, finish it off, having guts. You know, like, I like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we got a tough team.
And even after the defeat, Holtz didn't back down from his comments, saying on the Dan Dackett show, "Don't at me." He felt Notre Dame was the better team. He said he also apologized to Freeman for putting him in a, quote, bad position.
And after that heartbreaking loss, what do you think was the biggest reason the Irish lost the game? That is the topic of this week's Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll at WNDU.com. Here are your options: coaching, special teams, late game offense, or something else. We'll share the results coming up later on Countdown to Kickoff.
Well, let's turn the page now to this week's game, as Notre Dame is facing a hot team with a familiar face as head coach. Tomorrow night will be the first time Mike Elko coaches against his old team after serving as defensive coordinator with the Irish back in 2017. Now, that team went on to beat LSU in the Citrus Bowl. Elko's defense held 10 teams that season to 20 points or fewer. And while it was a short time, Elko shared nothing but respect for the Irish.
A ton of respect for that program. Got a lot of respect for Marcus Freeman and the job that he does. You know, this is a complete football team for sure. It's a very good football team coming in here Saturday night, and you know, we've got to have a great week of preparation to get ourselves ready to go out and play our style of football. But should be a great stage Saturday night. So excited for it.
Tomorrow's game marks the second straight week the Irish face a ranked opponent thanks to Duke's surprising start. So how did we get here? Duke wasn't ranked in either poll to start the season, but after a major win in week 1 against Clemson at home, the Blue Devils found themselves cracking the top 25. They have stayed in the rankings ever since, with wins against Northwestern, UConn, and FCS school Lafayette College. The Blue Devils sit just 6 spots below the Irish, the latest AP poll at number 17. It's their highest ranking in the AP poll since 1994. Marcus Freeman knows his team has a major challenge ahead of it.
The thing that you respect is how hard they play. They're aggressive. They play extremely hard, and they're sound. They're not exotic. They don't do crazy things on defense, but they play fast and they play hard, and they tackle well. And so I have a lot of respect for him as a football coach and the defenses he's been a part of. And so it will be a great challenge for our offense on Saturday.
And that ranked matchup in Durham is bringing fanfare that's usually reserved for the Cameron Crazies.
That includes College Game Day, who's going from South Bend last week to a place they've never done a show for football before, down in Durham.
Yeah, the Countdown's Julianne Pelusi has more on how both sides are trying to block out the noise ahead of Saturday's game.
The Irish need to move on quickly.
We got to prepare the right way and, you know, get ready to go to a hostile environment down in North Carolina with College Game Day being there.
They're back in the national spotlight again as Notre Dame headlines its second straight College Game Day against Duke this weekend. But the fanfare is fresh in Durham.
A couple of weeks ago, we were notified if things shake out this way, that way, few contingency plans, but you all are on the short list to potentially host game day.
First time hosting game day with all the noise and the buzz that's around that. I told the guys this morning, we're getting a lot of congratulations for game day coming here. I'd rather wait and get some congratulations for how we play a football game Saturday night.
Will the Blue Devils fall prey to the distraction?
In this day and age, you can't insulate them, aside from locking them in a closet somewhere. It's still not something that happens around here all the time, and so still a little bit of a concern.
Or will the noise impact the Irish again? Because Durham, it is going to be rocking all Saturday long.
It's no mistake that Duke football is here, has arrived in this moment, and so I hope folks notice that.
I'm Julianne Pelusi. Back to you.
Oh, we're just getting warmed up here on the countdown. Coming up, we're talking all things offense.
Yeah, after being held to 14 points against the Buckeyes, the Irish offense has their work cut out for them. We'll hand off the ball to the Countdown's Drew Sanders coming up next.
And it's time for our first Crispin Custom Painting Trivia question of the night. Mike Elko is not the only former Irish assistant to become a Duke football head coach. Who was the other? We'll share the answer when the countdown returns in just over 2 minutes.
I want to experience yoga all over the world. Can First Source help?
With the First Source app, we'll make sure you can use your car wherever you're at.
Even doing high lunge in Hawaii?
Yes.
Triangle in Thailand?
Of course.
Thanks, First Source.
Namaste. Control your account wherever you go.
Choosing the right windows can be overwhelming. Creating the right look that best fits your lifestyle and character of your home is why homeowners choose Hanapo. For 22 years running, builders have used Andersen windows more than any other brand. If you are looking to update your current home or considering new construction, choose Hanapo for your Andersen windows and doors. Our team will help you create the look and feel you want so you can enjoy life's special moments at home. Visit one of the Hanapo showrooms near you.
As the seasons change, so do the selections at Varner's Greenhouse and Nursery. On sale now, all nursery stock and perennials are 33% off. 8-inch mums are now $5.19 and are perfect for fall. Beautiful mum hanging baskets starting at only $11.99. 8-inch flowering kale now only $3.89 each. Pollen bulbs are available now. After all these years, Varner's Greenhouse and Nursery is still your first choice garden center for all of your planting needs.
What's your pleasure? Award-winning wings, burgers, and wraps? A beer lineup that'll answer all your questions? Appetizers and sides that'll pin your flavor meter? And all the sauces you could ever want, plus a few sauces more? You know where to go. You're always laid back, always ready to please local Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. When you want the real deal, come have some good food, great times at Wings Etc. We're here to please.
Honey, seen my debit card? Can't find it.
Again?
Misplaced card? We can help. Go to the First Source app. On, off, boom.
Thanks, First Source.
It's your card. Take control. First Source Bank can help.
Here is your Crispin Custom Painting Trivia answer.
It's a bit of a trick question, as Elko's predecessor David Cutcliffe was technically an Irish assistant coach. Cutcliffe was hired in 2005 by Charlie Weiss to be the assistant head coach, but Cutcliffe had to resign before coaching a game for the Irish after undergoing triple bypass surgery. By 2008, Cutcliffe took the reins at Duke, leading the Blue Devils for 13 years, including a 2016 win at Notre Dame. Slimmed down a lot after that triple bypass surgery, didn't they? Last week was a low-scoring affair in South Bend, but this year's Irish offense has proven it can put up a high point total.
Oh, yeah, and despite putting up just 14 points against Ohio State, it was almost enough to get the job done until the final second.
Yeah, we welcome the Countdown's Drew Sanders to evaluate the offense as they look to bounce back this weekend. Drew?
Yeah, guys, they'll face another tough opponent this time around. The D on the opposing helmets may as well stand for defense. Duke's held 3 of their 4 opponents to single-digit scoring so far. This Irish offense hoping they can buck that trend. Notre Dame's offense slowed down from its breakneck pace last week, following up a streak of 4 straight 40-point performances with a pedestrian total of 14. To add injury to inconvenience, they'll likely be down 2 key receivers this weekend in Deion Colsey and Jaden Thomas.
So he'll be out for a couple weeks, and then Jaden Thomas is questionable. He's just questionable right now with a hamstring strain.
The cupboards aren't bare in the receiver room, however, as true freshmen Jaden Greathouse and Rico Flores have formed an effective duo so far this season.
It's been adding up since I got here in January. I'm a hard-working player, and I'm gonna keep going. So just keep adding to the team and keep building our team together.
And as pass catchers go, tight end Mitchell Evans made a strong return after missing the Central Michigan game. He posted a 7-catch, 75-yard day against Ohio State, making him Sam Hartman's most consistent target on the night.
Put a linebacker on me, I'll win. Put a safety on me, I'll win. That game kind of proved that, I kind of learned I could go against anybody and pretty much win.
Oh, and do I even need to mention the running game? 3 separate backs went for 5 yards a pop last week. They'll need more of that same efficiency this time around.
Our guys have been able to rotate each other and stay fresh, and we've been very efficient, and it's also allowed us to attack people differently.
We're not good, and then we're really good, and now we're not good, or whatever those narratives are. I think you have to keep a belief within yourself. You have to keep a belief within your group, and the confidence shouldn't waver. That's how these guys been doing a really long time.
And, of course, we can't leave out the QB, as Sam Hartman's off to a historic start. 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions so far this year. That's an all-time program best for the 6-year signal caller. Guys, back to you.
All right, we'll see what the offense can muster up this week. Thanks, Drew.
We learned a lot about this team from their game against Ohio State. Up next, we're looking at some major takeaways from that clash.
Yeah, what's going on with not having enough players on the field for Notre Dame on defense? Mike Berardino and Tom Noy from the South Bend Tribune discuss. And the countdown continues in 2 minutes.
Auto Park Ford continues to make buying simple with one price, one person, 1 hour. Our best price with one personal sales assistant gets you the keys in 1 hour. Experience it for yourself at Auto Park Ford today.
Access the latest books, audiobooks, digital magazines, movies, and music. All you need is a library card. Visit the St. Joe County Public Library. With your library card, you can learn a new skill, sign up for an instructor-led class, bring your child to story time, or get tutoring help for free. Entrepreneurs, business owners, and artists will find access to research assistants, classes, studio space, and digital resources for free. And now there's no more late fees at the St. Joseph County Public Library. You belong here.
People everywhere are binge watching Lake City Bank Digital.
Look at this account action.
Where you can track your spending.
You spent that much last month, right?
No, that's yesterday.
Monitor your cash flow.
Good news. We can afford a company fitness room.
And set savings goals.
Cat Cruise, here we come.
Oh, don't you be grumpy.
Watch new episodes of Your Money unfold every day. Now streaming on Lake City Bank Digital.
Mark, a little help here?
Oh, keep it down. The noise is making them angry.
Whoa. Hey, I'm not a beekeeper, but I can replace these windows fast.
Feldco will be here for your home renewal needs. Right now, buy one window and you'll get one free, plus no interest until 2025. And we'll get it done Feldco fast.
Buy one window, get one free, and Saturday. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Auto Park Ford continues to make buying simple with one price, one person, 1 hour. Our best price with one personal sales assistant gets you the keys in 1 hour. Experience it for yourself at Auto Park Ford today.
That whole 10 men on the field thing, that's going to stick with the Irish for the rest of this season. But how long does it remain a talking point for Marcus Freeman?
Yeah, Mike Berardino and Tom Noy discuss in our first NDU Insider segment of the evening.
All right, fellas, obviously we're all aware of the issues that cropped up during the game. What did you make of the explanations that we received in the media from the players and coaches this week? Mike, let's start with you.
Which version? I mean, that's the thing. You know, it's not Zapruder film worthy, but I felt a little like a sleuth on Sunday going back through the game film and just trying to see on the broadcast when things happened, you know, and of course I'd kind of jokingly tweeted, what did the head coach know and when did he know it? Well, he didn't know it in time. I think we can all agree on that. Was it because he took off the headset while play was still going and people were frantically trying to get it to him? Was it because the eye in the sky, whoever that was, failed? And to the credit of everyone there, though, finger pointing and people throwing names under the bus didn't happen. I think they've owned it together, and that's important.
We could have heard of a lot of Bill Belichick, we're moving on to Duke. We didn't hear that. We heard from Marcus Freeman. We heard from Jared Parker, Al Golden. DJ Brown talked to the media on Tuesday. DJ Brown has no reason to come talk to us on Tuesday after dropping that interception. He owned it. He moved on. Everybody else owned it. We're not going to get finger pointing and say this particular person was the player that was supposed to be on the field. They've all said, we've messed up. We take responsibility for it. They've owned it. It's a pretty admirable situation that they faced when they could have said nothing.
How long does the 10 men on the field, though, stick with Marcus Freeman? Game, season, career?
Been thinking about this morning, Chuck. Scottie Pippen, Chris Webber, Jim Marshall, all have had Hall of Fame careers, but they've all been remembered for sitting out the final 1.8 seconds of a playoff game. Chris Webber calling the timeout, right. Jim Marshall running the wrong way. So it won't be in the lead of Marcus Freeman's coaching career, but it'll be somewhere in the opening paragraphs to where in 2023 he had a chance to beat Ohio State at home, but didn't get 11 men on the football field.
Do you concur?
I think that's fair to say. I think you can outrun just about any mistake that's in the sports realm, provided you do what you do. And the way he reduces everything, Marcus Freeman, to bite-sized challenges and winning intervals, there's a zillion intervals ahead of him, but this one will always be there as a footnote for people who want to bring it up.
Not to be Pollyannish, but I think when you look at that game Saturday, you can see some positives for Notre Dame. What's the biggest one that you think you take away from that one?
Well, there are no moral victories, but for 59 minutes and 59 seconds, Notre Dame was the better team, or at least was ahead on the scoreboard against a team that's now ranked in the top 3 and might go on to the playoff again.
You still have 7 games left to do something that this program can still go 11-1. Jack Heiser talked Tuesday night and said, you've got to have a little adversity along the way, but losing to Ohio State has done nothing to derail our thoughts on having a special season, going 11-1. If they beat USC, if they beat Clemson, it'll take a little of the sting away from Ohio State, but finishing 11-1, that would still be a great season for this football team, regardless of how everything happened on Saturday.
Those fellows show up as part of our partnership with the South Bend Tribune, and we also work together on the Pot of Gold podcast, which you can find everywhere you get podcasts, and on our YouTube channel at 16 News Now.
Well, for Irish fans, the life was sucked out of Notre Dame Stadium when the Buckeyes scored in the final second. What's the mood around town like? George Millay has the report on the buzz around campus when the countdown rolls on.
Is your heater ready for the cold weather? Are you sure it's ready? Make sure your heater is ready with 4 Winds Custom Heating and Air Conditioning. Call or visit our website today.
We're not just any Nissan dealer. We're Tom Naquin Nissan, your local family-owned and operated dealer since 1968.
We've been doing it forever.
We stock the most popular new Nissans, as well as a great selection of used vehicles.
Something for everyone.
The best buy experience ever.
We're close.
We're convenient.
We're family.
Tom Naquin Nissan, 13 minutes east of Grape on McKinley in beautiful Elkhart. TomNaquin.com.
Diversity. It's a critical issue in almost every aspect of our lives, none more important than in our workforce. For over 100 years, diversity has never been an issue with the NECA contractors and the electrical workers of Local 153. Our ranks are filled with the best in the business, regardless of gender, race, or sexual orientation. We base our hiring and advancement on merit. That's all. Don't settle for less on your next project. Hire higher standards. Hire a member of NECA, the National Electrical Contractors Association.
At Nova Federal, we value freedom. The freedom to work and raise your family in a safe and supportive community. At Nova, we also want to help you achieve financial freedom. At Nova, that freedom is always within reach. Locally grown, Nova has deep roots and a history of serving our community for over 80 years. Next level, personalized service by experts you can trust and industry-leading banking technology enable us to find every way possible to save you money. Visit us at novafederal.org and find out how your financial freedom is always within reach.
Well, it's clear something of a somber mood settled over the Notre Dame campus after suffering that narrow loss to Ohio State.
The mood, though, is beginning to improve.
Yeah, George Millay checks the pulse of Notre Dame fans in this week's Buzz Around Campus.
The Fighting Irish are in Durham, North Carolina as we speak, preparing to take on the Duke Blue Devils. But here at home, my assignment was to find out what the Newt Rockne faithful are feeling.
Feeling pretty good about the upcoming Duke game. I feel like the guys are going to be ready to come back for like a bounce-back victory, sort of kind of like a redemption for what happened last week.
Coming off of last week, going into this week, how you feeling?
Very good. I think their chances are very good. Duke's going to be a good team, but I believe in the Irish.
Being in the student section was incredible, like the energy there, which I think we'll hold on to going into USC because that'll also be a huge game.
Uh-oh, don't look now, but I think Arabella's looking past Duke. Her friend Emma isn't. Your fellow New York City person was looking right past Duke and already looking at USC.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, as seniors on campus, we have more of a bias towards the home games because we get to have a little bit more fun. But yeah, the away games can be just as tough as college game day seems to think. So yeah, looking forward to it.
So there you have it, a campus recovering from a devastating loss to Ohio State, but recovering with a sense of cautious optimism about Duke. On the Notre Dame campus, George Millay for Countdown to Kickoff.
Remember the last time the Irish found themselves down in North Carolina, we had to deal with the lightning, rain, heavy downpours. This time, it's going to be beautiful. Durham, North Carolina, kickoff temperature 72 degrees. Kickoff set for 7:30. Fourth quarter, 65 degrees. Now, the stadium, the way it is built, it is actually built down into the ground. So the winds, while they're going to be from the northeast at about 5 to 10, they're going to take on more of a swirl at the surface. There's a look at the kickoff forecast. Of course, go Irish.
All right, we've hit halftime on our countdown to kickoff, but we've got plenty of steam for the second half.
Our producers are telling us to hit quickly next, so we'll actually listen to them and tackle those and more when we come back.
As the seasons change, so do the selections at Varner's Greenhouse and Nursery. On sale now, all nursery stock and perennials are 33% off. 8-inch mums are now $5.19 and are perfect for fall. Beautiful mum hanging baskets starting at only $11.99. 8-inch flowering kale now only $3.89 each. Holland bulbs are available now. After all these years, Varner's Greenhouse and Nursery is still your first choice garden center for all of your planting needs.
When it comes to insurance, it's important to have a plan that fits you. Get a plan that's too big.
That's not gonna fit.
And you may pay for insurance you don't need.
Fellas.
And a plan that's too small can leave you without adequate protection. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help you design a plan that meets your needs so it's just right for you. Insurance that fits just right so you can kick back and relax.
See Shelter Agent Armando Gomez Mora in Goshen or John Hampton in Plymouth.
I build Notre Dame.
I build Notre Dame.
I build Notre Dame.
We build Notre Dame.
We build Notre Dame. Then and now. Come build Notre Dame with us.
Oh, great, my groceries are here. Oh, and my lunch. Hey, Monteith's Best One is here to install my tires. Introducing Mobile Tire Service by Monteith's Best One. The local company you have trusted since 1966 is now on the road, ready to repair or replace your tires at home, at work, or even for your commercial fleet. Ready to make an appointment? Call us today to speak to a live service representative or shoot us an email and a member of our team will be happy to assist you.
It pushes you out of bed, up a mountain, off the high dive. It pulls up your bootstraps, keeps its eye on the prize. It embraces that change will always come, and that the road to success looks different for everyone. It's a doer, a driver, the catalyst of dreams. It's called confidence, and confidence changes everything. Everyone deserves financial confidence. That's why Teachers Credit Union is now Everwise, a new name, the same people powering your dreams.
Live from the WNDU studios, this is 16 News Now's Countdown to Kickoff.
And let's kick off the second half of our show now with some quick hits. Duke's offense is leading the life of Riley Leonard, to be specific. The Blue Devil quarterback is the straw that stirs the drink on Duke's offense. The junior from Fairhope, Alabama, is a dual threat, having thrown for 778 yards while rushing for 238 in the first 4 games. But to Duke head coach Mike Elko, Leonard's biggest contribution to the offense might be what he doesn't do, make turnovers.
He's been really good with the football since we've been here. I think that's one thing. He understands the value of the ball, and you know, there's you know, kids who just get that, right? There's kids who you can say that to, and you can teach that to, and you can go over and over and over, and they just don't understand it, and they put the ball at risk a lot. I think Riley understands it.
And while Leonard was recruited to Duke out of high school, the Blue Devils defense is chock full of players that arrived through the transfer portal. 7 Duke defensive starters are transfers, including one from Notre Dame. Jamian Franklin has now been at Duke 3 years and has become a captain, but the Blue Devil secondary is almost completely comprised of transfers, and they have gelled into one of the top pass defenses in the country.
I think we've added 4 key contributors to that group. You know, Miles Jones, Al Blades are playing corner at a really, really high level. Jeremiah Lewis has been really, really good for us at safety. And then flipping Terry Moore from running back to safety has had a huge impact. And so I think, you know, we had 4 guys coming back that have all elevated and are playing at a better level. And then we added 4 guys.
Well, before the game with the Buckeyes, we asked how Notre Dame's offensive line would stack up against Ohio State's pass rush. Most would say they passed. The Buckeyes were not able to get much pressure on Sam Hartman all night. Ohio State registered just 3 quarterback hurries, but no sacks. Hartman has been sacked 4 times this season, all happening in the same game against NC State. Now, aside from that matchup, they've been able to keep their QB off the turf.
Offensive line, we have a really high standard we hold ourselves to, and that's to win every single play. And I think we did a good job executing, playing together, you know, against a really solid defense. So we know what we can do, and now it's just time to put it forward.
In a game that came down to 3 points, the Irish left at least 3 points on the board against Ohio State. It's been an up and down season so far for Spencer Schrader. Weeks after nailing a program record and career-long 54-yard field goal against NC State, Schrader missed what turned out to be a crucial 47-yard field goal early in the second quarter against Ohio State. On the season, the USF transfer is 3 for 7 in successful field goal attempts. On the latest depth chart, Bryce McPherson is now the holder, jumping Dylan Devison.
Was something, it's a comfort for Spencer, you know, when we worked it in practice, and, you know, ultimately he felt a little bit more comfortable with Bryce being the holder. In turn, we have to be able to make our field goals. We can't miss field goals, all right? And that's another important play that we have to make sure that we execute when we can.
It's another top 5 defense Notre Dame is preparing for this week. It's not Coach K's defense, but Mike Elko's. Duke is allowing just under 9 points a game this season. Only Michigan, Ohio State, and Oklahoma are allowing fewer points. It's something Elko and defensive coordinator Tyler Santucci have taken pride in since working together at Texas A&M, Wake Forest, and yes, Notre Dame. On offense, we talked about Riley Leonard, but the running backs are also playing great for the Blue Devils. Jordan Waters has so much drip. He's found the end zone 7 times, averaging more than 6 yards a carry. Duke is tied for the second most rushing touchdowns in college football.
Their quarterback does a great job. They'll get into tempo at any point in the game. 2 very talented running backs, excellent receiving core. Quarterback can distribute and run.
It's a ton of respect for them. You know, it's right back to attacking a top 5 defense. They're great at every level of their defense, up front, second level at backer, their back end, the 2 special players back there that rotate and make fits for them. They show up on tape everywhere, coming from the roof and blitz fits and all those things.
For Mike Elko's team, they're playing a familiar face in a new place. Last year, while at Wake Forest, Sam Hartman threw for 347 passing yards and 3 touchdowns on the road against Duke. Now, the Blue Devils came from behind to score the go-ahead touchdown that day, beating the Demon Deacons 34-31. Elko says the tape on that game can only help his team so much now that Hartman is with a different program.
You know, running the RPO style he was running at Wake, created one set of reads. Running a more pro-style system like he's running now at Notre Dame creates another set of challenges. Listen, you can be living in a cardboard box somewhere and know that Sam Hartman's a really talented quarterback in the college level, and so, you know, experience or knowing him, he's really good, and so we're going to have to figure out how to control him as best we can.
The Irish are a little banged up after last week's clash against Ohio State. Let's get to that right now in this week's Irish injury report. Wide receiver Jaden Thomas questionable for tomorrow's game with a hamstring injury. Freeman says Thomas has not been able to run at full speed because of it. Fellow receiver Deion Colsey out for a few weeks. He's had a knee scope, expected to miss at least 2 games. But good news for fans of Nolan Ziegler, he missed training camp for personal reasons. He's on track to return Saturday against Duke.
Now let's head outside the lines to hit the road with the Irish. If you have ever lost your mind packing for a family trip, then you'll appreciate our next story. Consider what it must be like to pack the entire football team as they hit the road for Duke. I checked in with the man in charge of the Irish invasion to find out what it takes to mobilize this team.
It is really tight. We bring a bunch of stuff and a bunch of backup things on top of that.
Chris Bassick is responsible for quite the packing process.
We have over 30 trunks that go on this trailer, and every one, it's kind of like a Jenga game inside the trailer, making sure that we know which one goes where, so everything's packed, you know, according to the plan.
As the director of football equipment, it's his job to get all the Irish gear to the game in one piece and on time. Their marching orders started early this week.
We take a 53-foot trailer everywhere we go and basically pack it from the front to the back.
There's not much wiggle room.
Player has his own protective equipment, so his helmet, shoulder pads, cleats.
They pack over 200 pairs of cleats.
And then we have probably about 80 backup cleats on the sideline. So even something as simple as a shoelace breaking, instead of running and having to retie the shoe, we just go into the trunk and give them a brand new cleat.
There are 4 trunks full of just helmets.
There are 120 helmets total, and then we have an additional 20 helmets that basically just sit on the sidelines.
He pays close attention to the weather. Raleigh was rainy. Durham should be dry.
We're planning on probably mid-60s for kickoff, which is great weather for us and how we're planning. But, you know, we still plan for the unexpected. We always pack rain gear no matter what. Always a little bit of cold gear just in case there's an unexpected drop in the temperature.
What's a good game for you?
No helmets coming off, no jerseys ripping. So if that happens and all the coaches can communicate well on their headsets, that's a victory for the equipment staff.
Guys, those uniforms can get really, really dirty, especially when they play on grass like they're going to be at Duke. There is a lot of pre-soaking when they get home. Now, a shout out, of course, to the staff at St. Michael's Laundry. I asked him, by the way, what items they go through the most day to day and at games, and parents of athletes, you're going to agree the answer is socks and underwear.
Sure, yeah.
And yes, they supply those too at Notre Dame.
Thank goodness, because they go through a lot of them, I'm sure. Just hope they don't forget the cleats.
Yes.
Don't want that to happen.
Or the leather helmets you used to wear.
Yes, back in the day, yes, with no face mask. Why do you think I look so good? All right, well, coming up, we're talking to a national champion. Yes, a man who has the formula to beat the Duke Blue Devils. I sat down with ND lacrosse coach Kevin Corrigan to talk about that title and what's next for his program. We'll hear that interview on the other side of the break.
And before we go to that break, here's another Crispin Custom Painting trivia test. Who was the star the last time the Irish had a football win at Duke? Think about it. We've got the answer when we come back. This is your 2-minute warning.
Service is important to us because, as you said, we started there and we were in service first, and then we were able to go into sales. Anybody can sell, not everybody can service. It's a good feeling to know that we're still doing what we started doing, only we're doing it better and sometimes a lot faster even. This is how we got to 50 years.
We got it, Bob Miller's.
2700 South Main, South Bend.
We love binge watching our money with Lake City Bank Digital. It has action.
Oh, looks like we can finally afford those obedience classes.
Romance.
Look, they weren't that expensive.
Suspense.
What is that charge for?
Oh, don't look. You don't want to know.
Oh, yeah, we're hooked.
Watch new episodes of Your Money unfold every day, now streaming on Lake City Bank Digital.
Access the latest books, audiobooks, digital magazines, movies, and music. All you need is a library card. Visit the St. Joe County Public Library. With your library card, you can learn a new skill, sign up for an instructor-led class, bring your child to story time, or get tutoring help for free. Entrepreneurs, business owners, and artists will find access to research assistants, classes, studio space, and digital resources for free. And now there's no more late fees at the St. Joseph County Public Library. You belong here.
Hey, look, it's this guy again. That means football season has arrived, and it's time to celebrate good games with great people all season long at Wings Etc. Wings Etc. is the only place to watch the big game on our big screen TVs while you toss back our jumbo wings with an ice-cold, tall domestic schooner. Or if you're in a pinch, call an audible and order our award-winning lineup of food to go. It's game on all season long only at Wings Etc.
Here is your Crispin Custom Painting trivia answer.
Ian Book had one of the best nights of his career in 2019 at Wallace Wade Stadium. The Irish quarterback ran for 139 yards and threw for 4 touchdowns, 2 to the slippery fox Chris Fink, as the Irish downed Duke 38-7.
Ahead of this week's matchup against the Blue Devils, we got a chance to speak to a head coach who took down Duke to win a national championship.
Kevin Corrigan has led the Notre Dame lacrosse program for over 35 years and is the longest tenured head coach at the school and in Division I lacrosse.
Yeah, I got a chance to sit down with Corrigan and talk with him about that title and a lot more. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Have you come down yet from that wonderful, magical day in May?
Yeah, you know, in some ways, very much so. You're back to work, back to recruiting. You know, new team already started fall ball and everything. On the other hand, still get reminded almost daily when somebody comes up to congratulate me who hadn't seen me for a while, and you know, I'm gonna give them about 3 years to stop doing that.
Okay. Now you've been so successful over the years and been so close so many times. What was it about last year's team that finally took Notre Dame men's lacrosse to the promised land?
Yeah, you know, that's a tough one, Terry. To be honest with you, it's one play. You know, I mean, we lost the national championship in overtime. You can't come any closer than that to winning a national championship, right? So if we make one play, then we have a national championship that year. The other team made that play. So in some ways, it's one play. And on the other hand, just to have a team that gets to that point and late in the season, gets to that championship weekend, those are special teams. And it's a combination of leadership, and it's a combination of a team that has great accountability to each other, and then just really honestly a group that loves being together and loves playing lacrosse together. So all those things come together.
How does winning a title position this program for the future, in your opinion? Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of the one feather we didn't have in our cap, you know, and so there's now nothing that you can look at and say, well, we've done everything now, you know. We've had that opportunity over the years to do everything, and so that is from a standpoint of positioning ourselves athletically is where we want to be. You know, the other thing is just the experience I think that we offer kids is unique and is really expansive, and so I think that positions us really well, along with the fact that now you're a champion as well.
Yeah, and talk about your current lacrosse team. Do you see the makings of a team that can repeat?
Boy, I do if we don't have them all in the MASH unit like we do right now. We got more guys hurt than I've ever seen. But yeah, we hope that by the time we get back to next February 18th, when things get real, that we'll be a pretty good team. You know, we got a lot of guys back.
You're entering season 36 at Notre Dame. What's been the biggest change you've seen at Notre Dame, athletically or otherwise, over that time?
Oh, gosh. You know, just this last weekend walking around campus with recruits, our campus is a different place than it was 36 years ago. I mean, golly, there's buildings where streets used to be, and buildings where golf courses used to be, and you know, it's an amazing what Notre Dame, the way Notre Dame has grown without changing the number of students who are here, right? So the experience that we're offering students now, I think, is better than it's ever been.
And something that's changed in recent years, and I think one of the great traditions of Notre Dame, the bagpipers leading, your players playing the bagpipes, leading the team out onto the field. How proud are you of that tradition?
Yeah, that's a great thing. You know, that started with one of our guys who came in here. Sean Meehan had grown up in a family of cops and firefighters in New York and played in the St. Patty's Day Parade every year. And so when he came out here, the guys thought it was so cool that he played the bagpipes, and he started it. And then since then, it's really been passed down over the years. A senior every year when he graduates will pass it down to a freshman, and then that guy will do it for 3 years. But they have to learn how to play the bagpipes. And you know, as we like to joke, most of them only know the bagpipe song. They don't really, they learn one song so they can sound like they know how to play the bagpipes.
Well, Kevin, it's been a pleasure to have you here on the Countdown with us. Congratulations once again on the national title. Here's to many more, and good luck in this upcoming season.
Thanks, Terry. Appreciate it.
All right, and there's more to the Countdown coming up. Stay with us.
I want to experience yoga all over the world. Can First Source help?
With the First Source app, we'll make sure you can use your car wherever you're at.
Even doing high lunge in Hawaii?
Yes.
Triangle in Thailand?
Of course.
Thanks, First Source.
Namaste. Control your account wherever you go.
When it comes to insurance, it's important to have a plan that fits you. Get a plan that's too big.
That's not gonna fit.
And you may pay for insurance you don't need.
Fellas.
And a plan that's too small can leave you without adequate protection. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help you design a plan that meets your needs so it's just right for you. Insurance that fits just right so you can kick back and relax.
See Shelter Agent Armando Gomez Mora in Goshen or John Hampton in Plymouth.
At Home Comfort Experts, our #1 priority is your comfort. Right now, receive a new AC and furnace for as low as $24 a week. With a new system, you'll save money on utilities, have continuous comfort, and experience peace of mind. And qualifying systems may receive up to $2,000 in tax credits. Home Comfort Experts has the technicians you can trust with your house keys and financing to fit your needs. Book online today at callhomecomfort.com.
EB's Old Fashioned Meat Market has been proudly serving the Michiana community for nearly 40 years with the best quality customer service and meats. Our famous Polish sausage is made fresh daily. Lunch meats sliced to your liking, and our large selection of beef, pork, and chicken are cut fresh by our meat specialists. Choose from homemade marinades, brats, and family recipes. Our quality selection of meats won't be duplicated. EB's Old Fashioned Meat Market, where we never sacrifice quality for price. Follow us on Facebook for weekly specials.
I build Notre Dame.
I build Notre Dame.
I build Notre Dame.
We build Notre Dame.
We build Notre Dame. Then and now. Come build Notre Dame with us.
Honey, seen my debit card? Can't find it.
Again? Misplaced card? We can help. Go to the First Source app. On, off, boom.
Thanks, First Source.
It's your card. Take control. First Source Bank can help.
Get breaking news and weather, live videos, and more, and push alerts so you never miss a thing. Download the 16 News Now app today.
Back inside the countdown, time to reveal how fans voted in this week's Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll at WNDU.com. This week we asked Irish fans what's the biggest reason the Irish lost to Ohio State last weekend. To no one's surprise, the majority, 56%, said coaching. 23% went with something else. I don't know what you 3% with special teams are thinking, but we thank you for voting in this week's Lock Monday Auto Group Irish fan poll. And remember to be with us all season long as we have a different fan poll every week right here on the countdown. Mike Elko is only in his second season at his first ever head coaching job, but the quick success that he's had would make you think otherwise.
So what's behind his hot start with the Blue Devils? That's where we pick up the discussion in our second NDU Insiders Report of the night.
As the Irish transition from Ohio State to Duke, the receiver ranks have thinned. Tom Noy, who steps up Saturday?
How about Jaden Greathouse? How about Rico Flores? Let's get Holden Stays a little bit more involved. Chris Tyree, who only caught one pass on Saturday and then disappeared. We don't know about Jaden Thomas. Deion Colsey obviously is out, but Sam Hartman has enough weapons to kind of counterbalance that. Get Audek SMA a little bit more involved in the run game, especially in the fourth quarter. I'm not worried about the offense. If Jaden Thomas can't go, we know Deion Colsey won't. A lot of weapons still for Sam Hartman.
Duke has been a great story over the last 2 years. How has Mike Elko succeeded so quickly there?
I think the transfer portal, just a quick look at that roster will tell you that they dipped in, and of course they went into the Ivy League. You know, Duke has a lot of the same problems getting transfers in as Notre Dame might, I'm sure. So you know, they shopped accordingly. You know, they have their Harvard guy, but they also have a Northwestern guy. They have Al Blades Jr. too in that secondary, University of Miami guy, and of course he brought a guy from Texas A&M. I think there's about 13 or 14 guys on that roster from the portal, so that helps.
Right coach, right place, right time. Mike Elko's been at Wake Forest. He's been at Notre Dame. He went to Texas A&M, kind of saw how everything works as far as an operations standpoint as a head coach, took the right job. Didn't take a job just to take a job, but he fits Duke and says, if I'm going to play at Duke, I'm going to do it my way, and that's defense. Fourth in the nation in passing efficiency, second in red zone defense. They've done it defensively. That's why Duke is 4-0 and ranked 17th in the country.
Is that what should concern Irish fans the most about the Blue Devils?
That or Lou Holtz saying something bad about Duke going into Saturday's game, right? Like, it's something where I don't know how many concerns Notre Dame has because game day is there on Saturday. It's going to be an atmosphere. The last time Notre Dame went to Duke in a night game, they won 38-7. So it's something where they're accustomed to that atmosphere. I don't know if Duke knows how to adjust to all the hoopla that's coming there this weekend.
Mike, what do you think should concern Irish fans about the Blue Devils?
Just, I guess, the emotion, the event of it that could whip the locals into a frenzy. I mean, it's a big opportunity. They did. You watch the Clemson game. Duke got rolling in the second half, but you don't want to. You want to stomp on them early. You don't want. You know, even though it's a 5.5 point spread, it's not expected to be a blowout. I think a fast start would be wise here.
It's at Wallace Wade Stadium, not Cameron Indoor Stadium. So how do you like the Irish chances? Score prediction?
Yes. I'm going to go 38-24 Notre Dame. I think the offense even with that pass efficiency numbers that Tom points out, is got enough on the run game and the five-headed monster to unleash, and I think 38-24 feels about right.
Mr. Noy?
It's good news that they're not playing at Cameron because the Notre Dame has no shot. So I'm going to say Notre Dame gets back on track. There's a reason Notre Dame has won 29 consecutive games against the ACC. Yes, Duke is hot. They're undefeated. They're ranked. Everybody's feeling good about Duke football. But I think Notre Dame goes there, gets back on track, shows them that, look, we're a pretty good football team too, even though we didn't show it in the closing stages of Saturday night. I'm going Notre Dame 41, Duke 20.
Okay, we've got one last drive here on the countdown to kickoff, and we've saved some of our best stuff for the end.
What the Irish need to do this week to take down the Blue Devils when the countdown returns in 2 minutes.
At Home Outlet, we help bring your ideas to life. Remodeling or building new, we're here to help you. Kitchens, baths, floors, and a whole lot more. Our Home Outlet locations across the country are full of new quality products and at better prices, guaranteed. Come see one of our knowledgeable store partners for help today. Come see us at Home Outlet.
Hut, hike into your neighborhood Martin's supermarkets for the best tailgate tastes in Michiana. Deli fresh subs, Martin's famous fried chicken, veggie trays, wraps, dips, and much more. Also, get delicious bakery items to satisfy your tailgate sweet tooth. Order online at martins-supermarkets.com or stop in your neighborhood Martin's Deli. Everything you need to get game day ready is at your neighborhood Martin's supermarkets.
At Nova Federal, we value freedom. The freedom to work and raise your family in a safe and supportive community. At Inova, we also want to help you achieve financial freedom. At Inova, that freedom is always within reach. Locally grown, Inova has deep roots and a history of serving our community for over 80 years. Next level, personalized service by experts you can trust and industry-leading banking technology enable us to find every way possible to save you money. Visit us at InovaFederal.org and find out how your financial freedom is always within reach.
Here's what's on tonight starting at 8 on Channel 16. Then stay tuned for 16 News Now. Tonight's primetime lineup is sponsored by your Platinum Chevy dealers. Save big on the 2023 Chevy Silverado. Visit PlatinumChevyDealers.com.
If you have questions about your car, truck, or motorcycle case, the consultation is free.
And you owe us no attorney's fees unless we're successful.
Pfeiffer, Morgan, and Stasiak, your personal injury lawyers.
It's time for our keys to the game, brought to you by Dairy Queen. Happy tastes good.
My favorite time of the show, we make like a banana and split after we make these picks. Our own Julianne Pelusi just touched down in Durham. She's got a look at what the Irish need to do to win in Wallace Wade Stadium.
Hello from Durham, North Carolina, guys, where Duke and Notre Dame are set to show down in another college game day matchup. It's the first college game day that ESPN is hosting here in Durham. Meanwhile, Notre Dame is seeing college game day for the second week in a row after hosting Ohio State last Saturday. Now, what is it going to take for the Irish to beat Duke and bounce back from that Ohio State hangover from last weekend? Well, first of all, it's get over that hangover. I think that they're going to need to score early and score often coming into that matchup, be aggressive and recover from that loss to Ohio State. Meanwhile, I think Sam Hartman, coming out of Wake Forest and transferring to Notre Dame back in the Carolinas, is going to be the X factor against this 4-0 Duke team, and why not? He's been the X factor for the Irish this season, even in that loss to Ohio State last week. In a matchup revolving around the defense, he threw for 175 yards and a touchdown, and that's kind of a bad day at the office for Hartman this season, but the Blue Devils won't be able to contain him like that Buckeyes defense did. Meanwhile, I do think this is still going to be a tight game here in Durham. I am taking the Irish 28-24 over the Blue Devils. From Durham, I'm Julianne Pelusi. Back to you.
All right, so let's check in with our own Drew Sanders now. Drew, what is your X factor for the Irish?
Tricia, I'm going with Jaden Greathouse on the outside as my X factor. He scored in both Notre Dame games that have taken place away from Notre Dame Stadium so far this season. He might just have a thing for road games, which would be a big boost for the Irish this weekend. Look for him to have a big performance in this one.
Drew, thank you. Chuck?
Well, what's one thing you can't get away from? Your shadow, and someone has to be Riley Leonard's shadow on Saturday. To me, that guy is Maris Leofau. He did a similar job against Brennan Armstrong in the NC State game. Time to put the owl back into Leofau and bring the pain to this Duke offense on Saturday.
All right, guys, keys to the win. Drew, what's it going to take for the Irish to win?
Well, my key for the win is pounding the rock. Duke's known for their defense, but it's the pass defense that's really excelled this year, allowing some of the fewest air yards per game in the country. Since Notre Dame's already short on receivers, why not take advantage of your strength, run the football this weekend?
When the Irish offense got into trouble last week, they didn't win first down. You can dictate the tone of this game really well, having sizable gains on first down, doing what you want to do. It's not easy, so as Marcus Freeman says, choose hard.
So that brings us to final score predictions. So, Drew, what do you say?
I'm going 24-9 Notre Dame. We've talked a lot about this Duke defense, but when they eliminate those mental mistakes, the Irish defense has held up well. I think they stymie the Devils on Saturday.
All right, thank you, Drew. Now, this will be another bruising battle and low-scoring game. Thanks to some tough defense, I predict the Irish will prevail 21-10.
All right, I'm just going to go with the score right here. I'm thinking that it's going to be Notre Dame 38-17.
And I've got Notre Dame bouncing back on the road 28-17 because they're not playing at Cameron. That'll do it for this edition of Countdown to Kickoff. Now we wait for the Irish to take the field in a little under 24 hours against the 17th-ranked Duke Blue Devils. Kickoff at 7:30 tomorrow night on ABC. We're back next week to preview Louisville for the Countdown Cruise. So long from South Bend.
Niall thinks he's the king, but they better watch out.
I would never! I apologize for their antics.
You're going to get used to apologizing for us.
The Voice, new Monday and Tuesday on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
We find missing people who have slipped through the cracks, and we bring them home. I will do anything to bring people home. New case.
We make quite the partnership, don't we?
Found Tuesday on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
Listen up. You've got 4 days and 4 days only to save like never before. During the 4-day super sale at Furniture Row. That's 4 days where the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. No limit. You'll also find huge savings on sofas and sectionals, dining tables and chairs, bedrooms, and much, much more. Plus no interest until January 2028. But don't wait. The 4-day super sale at Furniture Row ends Monday.
When I hit 80, I needed help around the home. A friend of mine told me to call Freedom Care, and they'll pay my granddaughter to take care of me.
Funded by Medicaid. If you live with your caregiver, they can get paid to take care of you weekly.
Life is sweeter with her around.
Nana gave me so much joy as a child. Now it's my turn to return the love.
Call now to find out benefits and pay and how fast you can get started.
Friday Night Football highlights at 11.
A good friend of mine who's no longer here, he taught me a little trick.
The spirit of Blake Shelton came into the room saying, pick Niall. And I was like, this might work. You want to sing a song together? That would be fun.
Yeah. Coming into this, I thought John Legend was a gentleman. How wrong was I?
I give you all of me. Get away, get away.
He's playing dirty right now.
If this doesn't work, I've lost all my mojo.
This has been quite entertaining for all of us. So, Mara, who do you pick as your coach?
Come on! Don't break my heart now!
Oh, that'll do it.
Come on!
Who should I go with? I'm gonna go with John.
That duet was so good. I had to get Mara on my team.
I'm so happy!
We didn't have a chance.
She's soulful, she's got amazing tone, amazing power in her voice. Take that, Niall.
No.
My first pick was initially Reba, but after singing that song with John,
what?
I was like, this is it. Thank you. My mind is blown.
I'm actually disgusted by both of your guys' behavior.
Why?
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, it was shameless. But, man, I better step up to the plate here.
Why do you have to do that?
Anytime you can block someone, block John.
That's the last time I speak to him. Blake, this is your fault. You cursed the foam finger. Get out of here, Shelton.
Welcome to Foley, Missouri. This is our only stoplight in our very small town, so get a good look at it.
I'm Ruby Lee. I am 16, and I am from a small town of 68 people called Foley, Missouri. There's not really anything in my town. Like, we don't even have a gas station or a fire department or a police department or a school.
It's just us couple of corn cobs here in Foley.
So one of the activities that we love to do is redneck sledding.
Redneck sledding, you get the top of a car hood, you flip it over, you attach it to the back of a truck.
Hang on, you guys, hang on.
And you just go around. And you just fling yourself until you fall off. Ruby actually broke her collarbone doing that.
Yeah, they rolled over me by accident, so.
Yeah.
45 seconds.
I'm from such a small town, there's not a lot of opportunities. There's 68 people, so it's like my whole town is here, plus more. I do want to make my town proud. If someone were to turn for me, it would totally change my life forever. I was extremely excited to find out that Reba was on The Voice. Also, I'd love to work with Gwen because she's won with a younger artist before. This is the biggest thing I've ever done.
Oh.